and welcome to my channel. I'm Goddess Lily. Well, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am going to talk to you about the basic supplies that you need to get started with ventilating. Now, I'm actually going to cover some advanced supplies at the end of the video, and this video is going to be long and I am not going to edit it because I noticed that my editing is very poor. I'm very new at it. And I might cut out something that I may not think is important, but it might turn out that it's important to you. So I actually have a list that I typed up that I have been sending out to people that have visited my website, wigweaves.com, and clicked on the training tab. Now, I offer one type of training, and it's called Basic Ventilation. And it's one price and it's one day. But what I'm here to talk to you about is basic supplies for ventilating. So let's get started. So the first thing on my list is Swiss lace. The reason why I say Swiss lace is because French lace is real delicate, too delicate for someone that's starting out learning how to ventilate, and German lace is basically too stiff for someone that's learning how to ventilate. Swiss lace is the only lace that I use to make lace front wigs, lace wigs, and full lace wigs, and it's probably the most common lace used amongst all wig makers. So there's only one place that I recommend that you get your lace, or actually two places, and that's his and hers, and the links will always be in the description area, and Amid Beauty. Now, one sheet of Swiss lace usually is a size 11 by 16, and it's enough to probably make, if you're concentrating on just making lace fronts, you can probably get maybe 4 to 5 lace fronts. But if you're making, closures, but if you're making full lace frontos, you will probably only get 2 to 3. And I actually have one. Hold on. This is actually the size, I don't know if you can see it. This is the size of the Swiss lace that you will get from Amid Beauty and hisandhers.com. And I'm sorry I don't have the prices because I don't buy lace from them. I get my lace from Germany. So, next thing on my list is ventilation needles. Now, as far as ventilation needles for training, I will only train and recommend that you buy one needle. And that's a size 2 to 3. But for purposes of ventilating and making a closure, you're going to need to invest in all sizes. And then you're going to need to invest in a holder for all sizes. I believe these one needle is, I don't know, maybe I'm just going to say $10. I don't know. And then you actually will need to write the sizes on your holders so you'll know. So the sizes range in a 1, you have a 2 to 3, this is size 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and this one is 1 to 2. And basically that tells you how many strands that you're going to pull. Like a 1 needle is so tiny that it basically grabs 1 strand, you would think, but actually it grabs 2 to 3 strands. Ventilating single strands is the most complicated thing to do because you have to actually separate the strands and actually grab 1 strand at a time, because the needle is going to always grab 2 to 3 strands, and that's for any size needle. So just to give you an idea of what the needles look like when you buy them, they look like this. They're very long. These are German needles, and they have the size on them. Sorry. So this one says G 2 to 3. So the G is for German. Let's see. It's actually, I have to cover my face. Okay. The G is for German, and 2 to 3 is the size of the needle. So see this, how long that needle is? But it's just almost impossible to ventilate with a needle that long. So what you're going to have to do is take your small pointed pliers and cut that needle in half and then stick it in your holder. And the holder, it unscrews like this. And you drop the needle in. This is how short I cut mine. So you drop it in, and then you just screw it. You can actually cut it as short as you want. This is kind of like the length of all my needles, and it works perfect for me. But you know, as you learn to ventilate and you want to pick up speed, you'll find your stride, and you'll, you know, play around with the needles, but don't cut too much off because the one needle is expensive. All the ventilating supplies are expensive, and you just can't get around that. So actually I showed you the needles, and next on my list was the brass ventilation needle holders. They have wood, but I prefer brass. A lot of people, there's videos out there on how to make your own ventilation needle holders. I mean, some people are really creative, but you know, you're gonna need to invest in one holder per needle if you want to be serious about ventilating. Next is canvas heads. I think most of us know what a canvas head looks like. It's pretty hard. It's, I don't know, canvas in the inside or something, but mine is covered with duct tape. You're going to need to cover your canvas head with duct tape in order to ventilate, because, oh, I'm sorry, I do have a canvas head that's partially covered. This is what the canvas head looks like. So you're going to need to probably just invest in one to get started, but then when you get into making wigs, you're definitely going to need a separate one to make a mold of your head and keep it on the canvas head, because if you can see all those little tiny pins, you're going to need to bam those pins in there and, you know, draw your hairline and all kind of other stuff. So you're going to need to invest in two. I actually have 4 of these, but maybe one to get started and then another one as you know, progress into advanced. So for as far as duct tape, I prefer 2 colors, and they are the yellow and purple. These are the colors I like, because when you're ventilating on a light lace, like natural, this is a natural color lace, the darker the tape, the clearer you can see those holes. And then as your if you want to dye your, you know, your net to match the color of your complexion, so I actually have, this is a lace frontal wig that I'm going to be making after I finish the one that I've been working on since November. When you cover, you know, with a lighter color, you can see the holes more clearly. So see how that is? So I prefer yellow when I'm working on my wigs so I can see, and then I prefer purple when I'm working on closures for, you know, different people that just want natural lace. Some people want to dip and dye their own lace to match your skin. So you're going to need to get a couple colors of duct tape for your canvas heads. And canvas heads, I order mine from a company called WilshireWigs.com online. Now, I live in Los Angeles, and Wilshire Wigs and His and Hers are both in Los Angeles, so I go pick mine up in person. And I'm sorry, but you're probably going to pay a nice amount of shipping for this, you know, because of the weight. But, you know, you can't get around it. If you are serious about learning how to make wigs and closures and learning how to ventilate, you're going to have to invest. But you do it slowly. So you're also going to need wig clamps. Now these are wig clamps. These are the small ones. These are for, you know, tabletops. They actually come with a little plastic thing, but I've had these so long, my little plastic thing broke off, but they still work. And because a lot of these, I don't know, I prefer putting tape around mine because it's still a little big, but the more tape, the more snug. So when you're working, it won't, you know, spin around that much. So that plastic tape comes in handy for that. So you're gonna need to invest in these, and I've also picked these up from WilshireWigs.com. So okay, going down the line. I wish I had a pen with me so I could check off as I cover, but you know I do. Hold up. Like I said, I'm not going to be editing, so Swiss lace ventilation needles, ventilation needle holders, canvas heads, push pins. These are the push pins that I use. I use both of a variety. I use the long ones. These are the long ones, and I also use the shorter ones. So I have a little bag, my little Mac bag is which I carry around the house, and I keep all my supplies in. And I have the shorter ones in here. So basically you just have to, you know, see which one works for you and use. So these are the longer and these are the shorter ones. Now basically when you start making wigs, you're going to need the longer ones because you need a longer one to push through the, you know, the fabric under here. Well, actually this is basically just cotton under here, and to get more specific, it's actually sanitary napkins. I stuffed my mold with sanitary napkins because they don't cave in. So you actually need the long pins when you're making a wig. And if you're making a closure, the short ones will work. So you need 2 sizes of those, and of course if you get the long ones you need a bigger pin cushion, and the shorter ones a smaller pin cushion. So that is the push pins. Next is the type of hair you need. For wig making, the ideal hair is bulk hair, loose hair that has not been wetted. Now I make closures with wetted hair because that's what people send me, and I don't really get into the hair, and some people can't afford to search all over high and low to find bulk hair. So once you learn how to ventilate, you'll learn how to ventilate in angles to make that hair lay in a certain direction, and that's what you have to do with wetted hair. Wetted hair will only lay in the direction that you ventilate. It's because it has been cut. The cuticles have been bent and sewed over this hard weft, and so therefore it can only ventilate in one direction. And people are still arguing with me to this day about that, but I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just telling you by experience that if you ever want to make a full lace wig for a client or someone, if you make it with wetted hair, they are going to be very disappointed at you. But this is a closure that I'm working on for a client. I'm kind of at a halt because I know this client wants a part, and I'm waiting for her to email me back on what side. I know she wants the side part, but I don't know whether the left side or the right part. If it was the center part, I would be able to just finish this and whip it out, but I think she'll probably respond to me soon, hopefully. So, and this is the client's hair. So as I told you, I use wetted hair, and I make it work. And so far so good. I've never had, you know, I've had some problems that I had to fix, maybe adding more hair in one area, or just I've had repairs. I've never had someone send it back except once that, hey, I don't like it, I don't want it. And that's because they use wetted hair. But You know, you don't get your money back in this industry. This is the type of industry that all sales are final because it's a labor of love. You're putting 50, 60 hours into making one piece. I ventilate 5 hours a day, a couple hours in the morning and a couple hours at night. I can't sit and ventilate all day long because, you know, my fingers, I don't want to, you know, get arthritis. Okay, so moving right along. So we covered the hair. You're going to need a nice little type of holder to keep all your supplies in. I picked this up at Sally's. It's really great. It closes. I can drop it and it doesn't pop open. And I keep all my little things that I need in here. I keep my needles. This is these little clamps that you get. You get a bag of these at Home Depot. They come in all sizes, and I use this sometimes to clip the hair, you know, when my finger gets tired of holding the hair. But I actually tape the hair. I'll show you how I do the hair, and it works for me. I love the way that I can tape. Okay, I don't have a taped one, but I think I showed you before how I loop it and I tape around and I hold it that way and just ventilate. So it saves your fingers from getting, you know, carpal tunnel or arthritis. So anyway, you'll need a nice little plastic, you know, container or something to keep your needles in and the things that you need handy. And you definitely need a little tiny pair of scissors to cut the hair off the weft. So, okay. Something else you need is pointed pliers. And these are pointed pliers. I got these probably at Sally's, but you can find them anywhere, you know, and they're for pulling the pins out of the canvas head because you want to save your nails. So pointed pliers works best. Something else you'll need is a small craft hammer, and I actually got this from Sally's. And you need this to bang the pins in the canvas head, especially once you cover your canvas head with your head mold and stuff it with cotton or sanitary napkins or whatever you're going to use. It's hard to get those pins in there, so you definitely need a little craft hammer to bang those pins in. You need a little small pair of pointed tweezers. I don't have those in here, but it's on my list. And that's just in case you are ventilating and you ventilate it and you notice that, you know, the knot didn't look right, or I don't know, you grab too many holes and you want to just take that little hair out. So that's what you need the pointed tweezers for. And other things that I have on my list that you need is sewing needles and thread of your choice. Now I have a nice little sewing kit that I keep next to my sewing machine, and I just have a lot of things in here that I need. Have all my bobbins, or not all of them, of course. I'm a seamstress, so I have a million bobbins, but these are just some of the different colors, you know. So I just have a lot of stuff in here that I need. Sewing needles, and I keep my, you know, sewing needles on here. And the reason why I said sewing needles is because if you're taking training from me, I am going to actually have you outline, you know, your pattern, your closures. And that's because, you know, you want to make it neat. I mean, I don't have to do this, you know, I've been doing this for, you know, a long time now, but I still outline my closures because I don't know if I'm anal retentive or anything, but I just like to be neat. And pattern making, you know, these are the different size closures. You're going to get into pattern making, but you're not going to get into pattern making in the beginning and the basic training because, you know, it's going to take you a while to get the hang of ventilating. So basic training is all about ventilating, and you will actually make a closure, or you'll leave here with your outline for your closure and the makings of your closure. And that is basically what I will offer for my beginning ventilating class or course. And so, let's see. I also have another package of, you know, other little nicks and knacks and things. That's a seam ripper. Seam ripper is on my list. You're going to need that too, because you can use a seam ripper you can use the sharp edge of it to pull out the hair, as opposed to tweezers. You know, it just depends if you're ventilating with a thick needle, 4 to 5 needle, and you're grabbing 4 to 5, you know, strands of hair. You might need the seam ripper to get in that loop and unloop it, as far as, you know, as opposed to using pointed tweezers. Okay, and you know, needle and thread, and I showed you how I outline this with thread. And that's, you know, to stay within the lines, because some of us need that. And you're going to also need white lined paper, and that's to make your patterns. And this is how I do my patterns. You know, I make the diagram. So obviously it looks like this. The rounded corners are at the bottom, and they have a size. So it can be 2 ways. This is 4 by 5 that way, 4 by 5 that way, which I would round the corner that way. So it just depends on what the client wants. If they want, you know, 5 inches long, 4 inches wide, or if they want, you know, 4 inches long, 5 inches wide. So it just depends. You know, you have to communicate all that with your clients, but you'll end up with, I probably have 10 different size patterns in here. You'll end up with a lot of different sizes, because if you're making custom, and I make custom, so I have a lot. Like this is a 5 by 6. So I have made every size that you can think of. I have made it for someone. Okay, so far as advanced wig making, I have some things that you may want to get, which I don't recommend until you become advanced. So this is called a hackle, and I will just open it up so you can see it. It comes with clamps, so you clamp it on, and it looks like that. It is pretty sharp, and I tell you, if you are not advanced and really know how to use this, you can seriously end up in a bloody bath. Now, a hackle is used to blend the hair. So say you have, you know, black, brown, blonde, red, and someone wants a wig. They send you 4 bundles, and we're talking bulk hair of, you know, a bundle of each color, and they want a wig blended. You're not going to have patches of different colors everywhere. You're going to take those bundles, intertwine them, rubber band the end, or however you want to do it, and you're going to run it through that hackle. And there's, I believe, some videos out there on how to use a hackle, and I suggest, you know, watching that video before you try it yourself. And this is a ventilation board. This is basically what you put the bulk hair through. Let's see, I'm going to use the hair on the weft. You lay it through like that, and then you put it together like that. And that keeps you from losing any hair. So a lot of people will use this for wet the hair, and then they'll go ahead and cut all the wefts off. And that's to keep it in one direction, because you know the cuticles have to flow downward. So you pull a little bit of hair out at a time as you're using it, and that basically keeps hair from falling all on the floor, and it assures that you're going to keep your cuticles in one direction. We're not going to use this, but it's, you know, something you want to have. You're probably going to want to invest in everything you know, over time. Just, you know, get one thing at a time, and then you'll end up with a lot of stuff. This actually is a styrofoam head. When you watch training videos, you know, on YouTube, where they're, you know, enticing you to sign up for their training, a lot of them use this styrofoam, and I believe they cover it with duct tape. I never did it, but these are, you know, very inexpensive. I don't know, maybe $5, I think. But I just really prefer that you invest in a canvas head, because if you're really serious about ventilating, you know, just invest in a canvas head. I don't know, they're maybe $20. I have no idea what they cost, but you know, it's an investment. Everything is an investment. But if you show up, you know, to train with me with a canvas head covered with duct tape, I'm probably gonna not take you that seriously, or maybe just think, oh, you just want to make a closure for yourself and you don't want to take, you know, make this as a business or earn extra money. But you know, I won't turn you away. I will work with you, but you know, I will question it in my mind. So you know, the hackle and the board, that's basically for advanced. And you know, once you get more advanced, you're gonna want to experiment with different types of lace other than Swiss lace. I mean, you might want to get seriously deep into wig making and start making toupees and mustaches, eyebrows. I don't know, you maybe even want to work, you know, on a movie set or something. So you're gonna have to become familiar with all types of different lace, and there is a lot of different lace. Now this book came from my supplier in Germany, and I will gladly give you that information. These are the different type of ribbons that are used for you know, the wigs, the wig caps. Where's that wig cap at? Well, I covered mine, but oh, I do have them. Let's see, like that. These are the wig caps that I got made in China. Well, these don't have that type of ribbon on it, but those ribbons are different, used for different you know, seams. Basically, they're used for full lace wigs, and I know how to make a full lace wig cap, but I don't make full lace wigs. No one's requested one, so I've never made a full lace wig cap. I actually made one, but I didn't you know, put it on YouTube or anything. So basically, you know, when you get more advanced, you're gonna start wanting to experiment with more lace, and so you're gonna just, you know, it's an investment. You're gonna order different kinds of lace, and you're gonna just work with different lace and find that there are different lace that you can use on different parts of the wig, and you need a stiffer lace obviously for the side, you know, and you might want to put the stays in. I mean, there's just tons of things that you're going to have to learn that comes more with advanced wig making training. But what I'm basically offering is a basic beginning learn how to ventilate course for one fee, 1 8-hour day, and you'll leave here with, you know, the beginnings of making a closure. You'll have a lot of knowledge, and you'll be very, very happy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You have any questions, be sure to comment below, and I do answer all of them. Maybe not right away, but I will. And I'll have the links to the 2 stores that I prefer that you buy, you know, your wig making supplies from. Actually, I think it's 3 now. I said His and Hers, Amid Beauty, and Wilshire Wigs. And that's it. Alrighty, so thank you for watching.